Bayou Time Sports is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System Community Sports Institute in conjunction with Barker Honda and Barker Kia.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Bayou Time Sports. We head into week 6 of our high school football season here in the Bayou region. Lots of games to be played, but we're getting close to finding out who is the pretenders and who are the contenders for sure related to PowerPoint rankings. First, let's take a look at the slate this upcoming week. Vanderbilt Catholic going to be at South Lafourche. That'll be a good one. Thibodaux going to be at Hornville. Wow, Thibodaux undefeated, taking on the Tigers of Hornville, who had their way with H.L. Bourgeois this past week. St. Charles Catholic at Terrebonne. That's a huge one. St. Charles Catholic lost on the last play of the game to St. James. Of course, Terrebonne had no problems with St. James, but the Tigers of Terrebonne are coming off of a loss to Destrehan. That is a big PowerPoint game for both of those teams. H.L. Bourgeois had a tough one against Hornville, and it sure don't get easier because they're going out to Destrehan to take on the Wildcats. Central Lafourche trying to string 2 wins together. They'll be at East St. John, a winless East St. John team. E.D. White Catholic going to be at Morgan City. That's one that I would imagine E.D. White's going to be playing some of the younger kids in the second half. Anything could happen in football, but Morgan City's struggling right now. St. James at Shaw. Speaking of big games in the state of Louisiana, that is a huge game. South Terrebonne going to be at Lutcher. Lutcher coming off of a loss to Vanderbilt. South Terrebonne a loss to Ellender Memorial. Assumption at Ellender might very well be for a playoff spot when it's all said and done. We'll see how that turns out. Hanson Memorial going to be at Central Catholic. Central Catholic is on a losing streak. They're trying to get in the winning ways. Covenant Christian going to take on AAA Berwick this week. Berwick got their first win of the year last week. And Kaplan going to be at Patterson. Kaplan, a pretty good ball team out there in southwest Louisiana, trying to take care of a Patterson team that has yet to win this year. Let's take a look at PowerPoint rankings because they're starting to get to be important, and I know that's a little small up there as far as the type, but first, let's look at Division I non-select. So that's our big schools that are non-select, most of public schools. You see Terrebonne is still sitting at number 2, and you say, well, how did that happen? They lost to Destrehan. Destrehan's so strong, it didn't hurt Terrebonne. At 4-1, Terrebonne is still sitting at number 2. Thibodaux at number 12, and you say, how does that happen? Thibodaux is 5-0. How do they stay there? They stay there because their schedule not quite as strong. Thibodaux really getting into the meat of their schedule starting this upcoming week. Then you have Hornville at number 17. You have Destrehan at number 20. And you have South Lafourche, who took a drop. They dropped down to number 21 after losing to E.D. White. They need a win against Vanderbilt to stay up there. The 3 red checks at the bottom are our 3 local teams that are on the outside looking in. That would be Central Lafourche, H.L. Bourgeois, and East St. John. They need to get into the top 26 to be in the playoffs. Let's take a look at our next division. Our next division is Division II non-select. We have lots of teams that are in the green that are going to be in. Lutcher is our highest ranked team at number 10 in the state of Louisiana. South Terrebonne took a big drop after that loss to Ellender. They can't afford to lose too many more. You don't want to take those big drops. They are sitting at number 14. Assumption is at number 24. They climbed a bit. So did Ellender at number 25. So those 4 teams would be in if everything ended today. The one team from that particular district that would be out is Morgan City. Morgan City is sitting at number 33. 26 teams make the bracket in non-select football. Let's move on to Division II select. Vanderbilt Catholic in really good shape. They're sitting at number 3. As a matter of fact, if it plays out where they take on the E.D. Whites and the Lutchers and the South Lafourches and win those games, they'll move up. Loyola Prep's going to move down just a little bit because their schedule is just not as tough as Vanderbilt Catholic's. E.D. White's making a move. Only 2 wins on the year, but they're sitting at number 8. That shows that they played a really tough schedule early on. Let's go to Division III. This is select football because we have Houma Christian who plays in this particular bracket. Unfortunately, Houma Christian would not be in that bracket as it stands now. They are at number 32. And unfortunately for the Warriors, they're having trouble scoring points right now. Need to really get something together. And when you consider some of the teams that are up there at the top, that are in their own district, it's going to be a little tough. Again, Catholic of New Iberia, a team that's always good. Your reigning state champs are sitting at number 14, so you're going to have to take on those guys. And when you consider you also have to take on teams like Lauraville along the way, Delcom, who seems to be very good, it's something where Houma Christian's going to have to start getting some things together. And finally, let's take a look at Division IV Select. And this is where we have a few schools from our local area. Covenant Christian dropped just a little bit. They dropped down to 8. At one point, Covenant Christian actually was your number 1 seed, excuse me, in Division IV Select. Again, dropping down just a little bit to number 8. Then you go down to Central Catholic. Central Catholic is at number 21. Remember, Central Catholic has lost 4 in a row, but they played really good competition and a lot of 5A teams, taking on H.L. Bourgeois and Central Lafourche. Central Catholic is now going to play in a very manageable part of their schedule. And finally, Hanson Memorial is 1 spot out of the playoffs at number 25. The team from Franklin has a great chance of getting into the bracket, but they're going to have to get some games under their belt here as they come up into their district play, which is District 7-1A. So that's a look at power rankings. They matter after Week 5. I mean, we're going to keep looking at this because, quite honestly, the higher you are now, probably the higher you are when you finish the season, and you want to get a home game with the playoffs coming up soon. Got to take a break. We'll be back after this timeout.
This segment was brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System Community Sports Institute in conjunction with Barker Honda and Barker Kia.